Welcome back. Now is the perfect time to include some fall favorites in your recipes, and a lot of them are available locally, and you can support Kentucky farmers and also get some great things on the table at the same time. We welcome Cheryl Case, the Harrison County Family and Consumer Science Extension Agent. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me again. I appreciate coming. Today we're talking about apples and sweet potatoes.
Love both.
How much fun is it to take the family to go to the farmer's market, go to an orchard, and buy local produce. Apples are in season. In Kentucky, we have over 2,500 different kinds of apples available to us. And this recipe is a really easy one. Only has 7 ingredients in it. The recipe tells us to boil, and I actually baked and sliced the sweet potatoes and layer them with apples, some nutmeg, brown sugar, and then you put a honey glaze over the top. If you're diabetic, then you could use artificial sweetener. If you're trying to cut back on calories, you could reduce the amount of sugar in the recipe. It's a nice fall dish. Even if you don't think that your children or your family like sweet potatoes, I think they will really enjoy this recipe. And last fall, I did this for a group of mothers of preschool children. And about 6 months ago, one of the mothers came up and said, "Cheryl, I just love that recipe." And of course, I'm thinking, what did I do for them? And she said, "The apples and the sweet potatoes." She said, "We make that all the time." If your family doesn't really care for nutmeg, then you could use cinnamon in the recipe. It's a very easy recipe. You could cut it in half and make half as much. The Cooperative Extension Service has partnered with the Kentucky Department of Agriculture, and we have produced recipe cards. These are recipes we traditionally would serve in Kentucky, but they've been altered and made healthier or more nutritious. If your family doesn't like the apples and sweet potatoes, there's a one that's just come out, apple cranberry Waldorf salad. Doesn't that sound good?
You always make us so hungry when you guys come with these segments, and it smells wonderful in here. Just cooking that in your home would smell good. And if you're interested in this recipe with the baked apples and sweet potatoes, check back in the health section of WTVQ.com a little bit later, and we'll have that posted up there for you as well. And as you mentioned, fall festivals this time of year, so many of the orchard and the agritourism with the festivals and events, a great way to go and have your family actually get the apples themselves or the ingredients to be able to do that.
We know that children that help grow their own food or pick the apples at an orchard, and then you go home, and this is a really good recipe you can do with children. Be sure you have extra apples. Peel those first so the children will be eating apples as they're helping you to cook the recipe. But we also know that children that help and work in the kitchen with their parents are more likely to taste it and then more likely to adapt and adopt those foods, and eat those. And so even if it's something you're not real sure they'll eat, try the recipe.
Well, wonderful ideas as always. Thank you so much for being back with us.
Thank you so much.